Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Like Jean mentioned, I prompted her earlier to make sure everyone had your checkbooks ready, and thanks for that intro, Jean. Tonight, I'm excited to share a vision with you. A vision of how young Australians can and will become world leaders in addressing social problems. We've invited each of you here tonight because we truly believe that as individuals and organisations, you can invest in this vision. Before sharing this vision with you, I want to thank some of our major sponsors that are here tonight. Gordon and Michelle Duncan from Lennon House and Peter Cooper from the Coopers Foundation, Coopers Investors, sorry. These two organisations have been the financial backbone of YGAP for the past 5 years, and we're truly indebted to your work. Our more recent supporters, some who are present here tonight, Hall & Wilcox, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PPB Advisory, Cassette, Bastion, Run Property, Photo for Freedom and Big Dog Entertainment. Thank you all for your support over the number of years. Let me thank our steering committee, a number of who have helped establish our governance in the last 13 months, and Chris Judd for being our ambassador. Not only a Visi ambassador, but we're happy that you're a YGAP ambassador too. Thanks for your journey with us, Juddy. And finally, let me sincerely thank Jean Pratt and the wonderful Raheen team for letting us dream about having a vision dinner here tonight and for your gracious hospitality. At YGAP, as many of you know, we exist to support and inspire social entrepreneurs to end poverty. I'm proud that YGAP is and remains a voluntary-run organisation. We are uniquely placed to provide tangible opportunities for young Australians to connect to global issues across Australia, Africa and Asia. We remain focused on a model of investing in future leaders through youth education and youth leadership. To us, a social entrepreneur is a change maker. Someone willing to wake up each and every day wanting to make the world a better place. Someone willing to invest their time, energy and resources into making the world a better place than what they found it. Now, I'm well aware that I need to be brief with this introduction. I am the only thing standing between you and your entree. As a result, I'm going to offer you a compromise. In the next few minutes, I want to introduce and outline the stories of 3 social entrepreneurs that our supporters have helped inspire. After that, we'll enjoy our entrees and I'll return back to talk about some of YGAP's project successes and, of course, a vision for the future. The first social entrepreneur and person I want to talk about is David Mumbawe. In 1994, at the age of 12 years old, David, along with his immediate family, escaped Rwanda's genocide, fleeing to a Congolese refugee camp. His grandfather, uncle and other relatives were less fortunate and died in the horror. After migrating to Kenya, education has become an opportunity for David to succeed. He has pursued 2 masters in the US and now is completing his PhD here in Australia. By virtue of meeting YGAP volunteers in 2008, David was inspired to return back to Rwanda to start an organisation called Senejo. Senejo focused on empowering and educating young people. The first school that YGAP was happy to help sponsor with Senejo is Nenyo Primary, a school 1 hour south of the capital Kigali in the rolling Rwandan hills. His grandfather founded the school in 1954, but was killed on site during the genocide. Because of supporters like Lennon House and Cooper Investors, we have been able to support David's vision in the past 3 years. This vision is fulfilling his grandfather's dreams to have the whole village educated. Encouragingly, Michelle Duncan from Lennon House will be visiting our Senejo project in Nenyo later this year, whilst going to David's wedding. I'm also very pleased to inform you that David is here tonight, and I welcome you, David. A young Cambodian girl named Lytia has had a profound impact on my life. I like to believe she changed my life. Resilience and courage understates the amazing work this lady does. She is such a strong woman. Lytia was born on the border of Cambodia and Vietnam. Like many people around her, she grew up in abject poverty. At the age of 8 years old, her parents were tricked. Her parents were told that she'd be taken to China to receive an education and work part-time to help fund the family. Lytia was taken to China, but she wasn't taken to be given an education. She was forced to become a domestic servant, working day in, day out. She told me late last year when I met her, life wasn't too bad for the first few months, up until the 4th month, when she was raped by the Chinese husband, an 8-year-old. She said her life became a daily living nightmare. This continued on for a number of months before Lytia was trafficked back to Cambodia. The wife of the husband became jealous of Lytia. She wasn't taken back to her family. She wasn't reintegrated back into her Cambodian society. Instead, she was taken to Phnom Penh. From the age of 8 to 11, for 3 years, she was taken into Cambodia's hideous sex industry. She was trafficked across 11 different brothels at the age of 8 to 11. She successfully escaped from the brothel after unsuccessfully trying a number of times. And I recall meeting her last year, and whilst participating in YGAP's leadership program that we ran in Cambodia and Phnom Penh, I asked what her dream for life was. And Lytia turned to me and said, "Elliot, I want to do as much leadership training as possible. I want to get an education because I want to become a journalist." And I said, "Lytia, why do you want to become a journalist?" And she said, "I want to expose and tell people the truth about Cambodia's sex industry." She asked me to do one thing. As a friend of hers, talk about her story. Tell people about the issues that occur in Cambodia. Lytia is choosing a life of service. The third person I want us to talk about tonight is Laura Misi. When it comes to volunteering, there are few people in the world like Laura. Laura lives in Northcote. She is born and bred a Melburnian. No words can describe her passion, energy and love for people less fortunate. By day, Laura works as a social worker for the Department of Human Services. By night, she volunteers her skills with YGAP. Laura exemplifies the many young people we have in our amazing organisation. Laura, and I proudly say this, was the only volunteer to participate in all 3 of our project partnerships last year, self-funding herself to go to Cambodia, Rwanda and Ghana. I asked her, "What influence has YGAP had on you, Laura?" She stopped and said, and I quote, "Travelling and volunteering with YGAP has given me the gift of perception and gratitude. It has enabled me to become a stronger, more generous and grateful individual." Laura probably won't like me saying this, but when I first met her over a coffee at Kinpo Cafe, she told me she had a fear of public speaking. I said, "That's going to be an issue because you're about to become a team leader at YGAP." I was proud 10 months later to sit in Nenya, Rwanda with David Mumbawe as Laura got up in front of 1,000 people and spoke on behalf of YGAP. I'm proud to say that Laura, as a volunteer, is here tonight too. Welcome, Laura. Before we enjoy our entrees, let me say that David, Lytia and Laura are 3 social entrepreneurs that YGAP and our supporters have invested in to inspire to help end poverty. With your support here tonight, we aim to reach and impact the lives of 100,000 young people just like David, Lytia and Laura over the next 5 years. I trust you'll enjoy your entrees. Round 2, now it's time to ask for money. I'm joking, well, just for the time being. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to say that our supporters and volunteers, many present tonight, have enabled YGAP to make a positive impact both in our field partnerships across Africa and Asia and here in Australia too. Over the past 5 years, we have addressed social problems, focusing on youth education and youth leadership. It is the reframing of a problem and finding a solution. We remain focused on a hand-up, not a handout approach. Some of the social issues we've been working to address include: in Malawi, we found that access to an education is not equal for every child. When we first began working in the Nguyen Primary School, 6,692 students were educated in 12 dilapidated classrooms. Now, as you can guess, 6,672 students do not fit into 12 classrooms, so many of the classes were held on the perimeter of the school. Whenever it was too hot or it rained too heavily, kids were simply sent home and denied a day's education. In Rwanda, when we first met David Mumbawe in late 2008, he informed us that 0% of students at the Nenyo Primary School graduated and went on to secondary school. In Ghana, we came face to face with the horrific nature of child exploitation. Children as young as 4 years old from vulnerable communities are sold into slavery to work in the fishing industry, amongst other industries in Ghana. At a very young age, the children are made to work up to 14 hours a day. They often experience adverse physical and psychological abuse and do not have access to school and medical services. There's an estimation, as our project partners informed us, of 7,000 children that are enslaved along the Lake Volta region. Like many of you know, Cambodia has unfortunately become an epicentre for sex tourism. It is estimated there's approximately 100,000 female prostitutes in Cambodia alone. Many, like Lytia, my friend, trafficked against their will, forced into a life of torture and abuse. To tackle these social problems, focusing on youth education and youth leadership, YGAP has built strong support from many organisations and individuals. We're truly proud to have a number present here tonight. We've become known for running amazing events, including balls, bike rides up and down the east coast of Australia, bike rides across the west coast of Africa, photo exhibitions like Tom Goldner's Photo for Freedom, and starting a social enterprise cafe, which many of you might know, Kinfolk in Burke Street, inner city Melbourne. However, the one fundraising project I want to outline in more detail is our 5 cent campaign. YGAP realised a lack of utility around an individual 5 cent piece. After some research to the Mint, we discovered there's actually $150 million of 5 cent pieces in circulation. $150 million of unwanted 5 cent pieces out there in our society. So we've become the charity willing to collect all your 5 cent pieces. In our first year running the campaign, we gathered $1.5 million of gifts in kind donations in less than 2 months. We reached 11.3 million Australians through the campaign, and we achieved our objective of collecting 1 million 5 cent pieces. In addition to collecting the $150 million of 5 cent pieces in circulation, the pipeline for growth for this campaign is engaging with organisations like yours to donate 5 cents per product and service sold in the month of May. By putting an innovative twist on fundraising, we're very proud that we've managed to fundraise just short of $900,000 in the past 5 years. Of this, we've incurred a 9% administration costs and are proud that for every dollar we spend on fundraising, we generate $3.20 in return. Throughout this process, as I mentioned, we've remained a volunteer organisation. Every manager and steering committee member on your table tonight is a volunteer. Personally, I've been leading the organisation for 5 years as a volunteer. Some may say that's 5 years too long. I'm looking at you, Elby. What's most impressive about the fundraising projects and the delivery of our social services is it's always off a minimal budget. We cultivate the energy and enthusiasm of young Australians willing to wake up every single day to try and change the world. Such tremendous support has enabled us to find solutions. Our solutions remain focused on a hand up, not a handout. We practice this in both our fundraising projects and social enterprises here in Australia and in our project partnerships around the world. It's enabled us to achieve the following. In Malawi, building 4 additional classrooms in the Gwenyam Primary School, increasing the school's facilities by 33%. In Rwanda, by building 8 additional classrooms and investing in teacher training programs with our project partner Senajo, we've been able to increase the education level from 0%, the graduation rate from 0% right through to 94%. In Ghana, we've been helped by our project partners to rescue 38 children from slavery. 38 children coming out of the dire fishing industry. We've provided funding for 12 additional classrooms and started various social enterprises in the sending communities to help mitigate more children being trafficked into Ghana's fishing industries. In Cambodia, we launched a leadership program, like I mentioned, late last year. We work with 17 former victims, aged 17 to 28, coming out of Cambodia's hideous sex industry. Each of these young women are now role models and carers for other women who have experienced similar trauma. But importantly in Australia too, our work has transformed and changed the lives of many Australians, mine included. To date, YGAP has engaged over 10,000 young Australians through our campaigns and fundraising initiatives. We presently have 200 active social entrepreneurs that invest anywhere from 8 to 20 hours a week on their YGAP work. To me, what's more important than any of the statistics is the fact that we're engaging a generation of young people who otherwise wouldn't be connected to social justice. We offer hundreds of opportunities to people from all walks of life. Our volunteers stretch from tradespeople to interior designers, to social workers, to uni students, to teachers, to nurses, to boring accountants like myself. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are asking for here tonight is a kickstart. We're requesting a hand up, not a handout. We do not aim to become entirely reliant on supporters like yourself. In the next few years, we believe we can launch our own micro-social enterprises to help sustain our project partnerships around the world. The next in the pipeline is Feast of Merit. Feast of Merit is a convivial dining experience in the heart of Melbourne, to be opened in May this year. Feast of Merit, the name stems from my father's book. He visited Nagaland in northeast India a few years ago, and whilst walking through the town, noticed a man wearing a golden cloak. Quite intrigued by this man wearing a golden cloak, he turned to the community leader and asked, "What does this represent?" The community leader was quick to say he's been through the Feast of Merit, going on to explain whenever you become the richest person in town, whenever you acquire a certain position of wealth, there's a convention that you would liquidate all your assets. Sell everything you own, you put a feast on for all the poor and disadvantaged people in town. That feast is a 2 to 4 week process. After that, you become the poorest person in town and start all over again. The community leader then turned to Dad and said, "Do you not have this in Australia?" Dad looked at him and said, no, we don't. Ladies and gentlemen, for anyone willing to go further than a donation tonight, we are happy to liquidate your assets for YGAP. We can put a Feast of Merit on for you that can rival the Raheen hospitality. You may ask why we're investing our time and energy into social enterprises. Well, we strongly believe that a commercial approach can solve social problems. Many people of our generation are looking for jobs that fulfil a purpose. No doubt profit makes our society function, but it's purpose that makes our society matter. Our vision. In the next 5 years, we have a very clear vision. We aim to reach, impact and change the lives of 100,000 young people. To achieve this, we believe we need to educate a generation of social entrepreneurs willing to invest in a hand-up, not a handout approach. By continuing to support and focus on youth education and youth leadership across Australia, Asia and Africa, your support will help us reach 100,000 people. To achieve this, starting tonight, we aim to fundraise $200,000. It's our hand up, not our handout. So how will your support impact the lives of 100,000 people over the next 5 years? In Rwanda, in addition to building new classrooms in schools like Nenyo, your support will support YGAP and Tenajo to train 20,000 teachers in rural Rwanda. We aim to lift the graduation rate of other schools in the district near Nenyo to 100%. In Ghana, by focusing on youth education and social enterprising, your support will enable us to work with 20,000 people who are at risk of having their children exploited through bonded labour. In Cambodia, your support will enable us to invest in leadership workshops for up to 10,000 former victims of Cambodia's sex industry. While in our own country, your support will enable YGAP over the next 5 years to engage, mobilise and inspire 50,000 young people. We have no hesitations that we can achieve this. This is our vision that lies ahead. We're excited to explore new partnerships with local grassroots organisations around the world. One thing is for sure, we will continue to partner with local grassroots organisations. We believe, at the heart of what we do, that local people have the answers to local problems. We are simply part of facilitating their solution. Together, we are planting a seed for a future tree to grow. Tonight, we provide you the opportunity to reach, impact and change the lives of 100,000 young people across Asia, Africa and Australia. Young people like David, Litia and Laura. I will not rest knowing there's an 8-year-old in Cambodia that may be stripped of her innocence, taken away from her family and taken down into Phnom Penh's sex industry. I will not rest knowing that tomorrow children in Malawi may lose a day's education because of the rain. I will not rest knowing that a 4-year-old in Ghana may wake up tomorrow to face a 14-hour long laborious day of work. And I will not rest knowing there's a whole generation of people my age willing to take action and stand up, but waiting for a vehicle and an opportunity to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, I hope you join with me in thinking about investing in this vision. Thank you.